to discover the wonderful world of booze. By the glass.
Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to By the Glass. I'm your host, Brett Hubbard, and I'm welcoming you to explore the wonderful world of wine, beer, spirits, and everything in between. We've got a great show for you tonight, and, of course, I am joined by my guest host, Jason.
Hey, now.
I've been crazy and bad on the boards.
I am.
And tonight's the Green Flash Brewing Night. We got Green Flash Brewery in the house. Of course, Mr. Rob from Daily Beer Review coming in to review the beers and blog about it. Welcome to the show, buddy.
Love it. Love coming back.
I love having you
keep ahead
here.
of that Ruth.
Yes, it's the Green Flash Brewing Evening, and tonight we have Mr. Jeff Croy, Southeast Regional Sales Rep for Green Flash in the house. Thanks for coming, bro.
Thank you for
having me. I really appreciate you. Yeah, definitely coming down and everything. Now you are a fairly new to the area.
Oh, I actually am from Tampa, so I'm
Okay.
familiar with Florida.
Okay,
With the heat, not the area.
Sort of familiar with the Fort Lauderdale area, not so much, this part of town.
very cool. Yeah, so you welcome to.
We are in the
welcome-
hood.
Welcome to the real South.
Hollywood
Florida.
gets nicer,
Yeah,
than
as you go along. And he's in studio tonight to talk about Green Flash Brewing. It's a very awesome brewery out of San Diego, and a little bit of that West Coast style coming over to the East Coast tonight. We're going to have a little bit of a West Coast themed show tonight. So some of the music and that type of thing. And, of course, all the beers are going to be that style. When people say West Coast style, what does that mean to you?
To me, West Coast style beers tend to be more bitter, more hoppy than other beers.
I agree.
A little bigger?
Yep.
A little more in your face. But Green Flash.
Yep.
What's up with the name Green Flash? Very cool name, very catchy. Do you know anything behind it that you know?
It comes from when the sun sets, as the sun's setting, the last little second, there's a green flash
Really?
as it's setting, yeah.
That's amazing. Has anybody ever seen that?
I have not.
No, we see the sunrise over here, but in Tampa,
I have seen this.
It might actually work over there.
they
That's
see the
fantastic.
sunset.
So Jeff's down here and he's taking care of the marketplace and getting it out there. How well received? How's the rollout been?
Really well received. Actually, I was in a sampling yesterday in Miami, and it's really, really good reviews. I did the San Diego, which we'll talk about later, and also
great.
the West Coast IPA.
Speaking of later,
Yes.
should we
Boy, that
get
was
going?
quick.
Wow.
6:03. Come on.
Usually George is the one harassing me.
Wow.
Well, it's maybe not today, but we'll see. I'm
Have it be
right.
noted that I spoke before the show actually started. So.
Okay, yes, you're always the main harasser. That's great. If you want to go get it, go get it. We're going to start
right,
I
off.
did
Since
pull
we're
up
on
a
a beer
picture of a
tonight,
green
I'm
flash
happy.
for you,
That's
Brett.
A picture of a green flash. There it is.
There it is.
That looks a little bit more orange to me, but I'll take green.
That's
I mean,
all I've seen of it, too.
Yeah, so
you go.
but
Wikipedia.
Orange Flash was taken, so we had to go with green. Yeah, absolutely. Well, we're going to try some really great beers tonight. We're going to start off, of course, with the Diego Saison, and then the Hophead Red West Coast IPA, the Imperial, which I would imagine is an Imperial IPA, and then Double Stout, which also could be an Imperial Stout if they just want to call it that, right?
I think it's classified as a
kidding.
stout, but it borderlines
Yeah,
a double
absolutely.
stout.
That's fantastic. I can't wait to try all these big, great beers.
Deal out our coasters also.
Yeah, the coasters keep the
Important
shock
for
off.
very
Because George
important
hates when you
quality.
make clicks and snaps and all that kind of stuff. He'll
They're
be yelling
right,
at me the
they're
whole
right
time.
next to you, man.
So talk to me a little bit about the company. Talk to me a little bit about the ideas behind it. Now it says a small company with big ideas. How does that translate to the market?
Well, we just see ourselves as, high-end craft beer.
Right.
We're not your everyday, run-of-the-mill,
Right.
we don't want to be in every bar, every restaurant. We want to be in the proper accounts.
Absolutely, selection is a great thing.
Absolutely.
Now, have you found that the proper accounts are taking you in? I mean, is that something?
It's still a growing process. We're new to the area. We really only been in Florida for about a year now, so it's still growing.
That's great. What's some of your favorite styles of beer?
I like everything. I have to say my most favorite style is the brown ale.
Okay.
Which we don't have, unfortunately, but, you never know.
We
Hey.
can pick it up later on. Hey, what? I have a silly question.
They have to
Do
brew
you
it.
guys just brew in the big bottles?
No, actually, San Diego was a big bottle last year,
Oh, okay.
but we do brew in the 12-ounce bottles and the bombers
So
as
you
well.
can get 6-packs and stuff like that.
We actually do all of our beers in 4-packs.
4-packs, huh?
Four
Okay.
packs, yeah. Figure our stuff tends to be
Hipster.
higher gravity,
Yeah.
so we do the 4-pack.
You don't need
No,
6
that's
of them.
great. No, it's all about it. Now, interesting thing here for a saison, very clear. Many saisons have a little bit of cloudiness
got a
to
wonderful
them.
bouquet.
This one's very well. There's that beautiful spicy, floral, fruity ester that you would normally get off of the saison from a Belgian
No,
style.
I
yeast.
like that. That smells good.
A beautiful, really high carbonation that's classic of the saison style.
Correct.
And it's like I said, the bubbles even are very champagne-esque, very nice. So, tell me a little bit about your.
That's pretty good.
Your take on the beer, Jason. You like it?
Yeah, it's good. It's a light little bit of spice there at the end.
Yeah, you get a
Finish
little
is nice.
You get a little ginger flavor to it. Little
I
orange
do. I
peel.
get ginger. I also
Very
get some
different.
stone fruits. I get a little bit of peach, maybe some apricot, like overall fruit esters in there.
Yeah, and I didn't want to say it, but it says it here. It is a little musty. Like
No, that's that
yeah.
comes from the yeast.
Well, it says it right here.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
I'm not saying anything bad.
Yeah, there's a lot of different yeasts that are indigenous to Belgium, let's say, that have certain characteristics to them that can be perceived as must or other things like that actually are good attributes to the beer. Now, being an American interpretation of thus, they probably wanted to replicate that as best they could, but putting their own stamp on the beer. One
Correct.
thing I love is this lemon meringue head here.
The
That's
head? Oh, my
absolutely
goodness, man.
It's very
exceptional,
fun.
which
It's got
shows
good mouthfeel.
amazing yeast propagation and a very live and active yeast culture.
Correct.
Yeah, that's
So-
head for days.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're really hoping this will catch on for us in the summertime. Most of our beers are big and bold, and Florida's really hot. And
This
we
is
hope-
the
That's a
very,
good
this is-
summertime beer,
This is
yeah.
very refreshing, very, dare I say, sessionable.
yeah, we're
And-
calling it our beach house style ale.
Yeah,
What kind of alcohol we got on this? I can't see it on
5% is what it would clocked in at.
All right.
which is low on the saison scale, but I always like lower end saisons because what it does is
You can
it'll,
drink a
it's
couple
little,
more.
It's a little less
Absolutely.
heat, it's a little less alcohol, so the perception is more spice, and the finish tends to be more of the yeast as opposed to the alcohol.
Right.
So I really do appreciate that too. from
And it's
this one here.
unfiltered?
It is unfiltered.
Okay.
And that's amazing that it's unfiltered because
so clear.
so clear.
Yeah.
And I tell you, like if you look at a saison Dupont or something like that, a little cloudy.
Right.
But saison by definition is an undefinable style. It
Yeah.
tends to be from that the saisonniers, the seasonal migrant workers of Europe would come through and they would just kind of use whatever was left over.
You
to
drink all
create
the beer
beer.
and there's still a head in there.
Yeah, no, that's good. Lacing on the glass is not only a beer clean glass. Thanks for taking care of things, George. But and a really wonderful
Hey, I'm
beer.
degenerate.
It's made very well. I have no knocks on this beer, so it's
Yeah, it's
very
really good.
Thank you.
So getting back to the brewery, Mike and Lisa Hinckley, owners, right, took interest in the industry,
Correct.
and then from there they kind of got things going. Why don't you talk a little bit about the history?
Basically, what happened is they purchased the company back in 2002.
Yeah.
They we had a version of the West Coast IPA.
Mhm.
It wasn't very good. The company wasn't doing very well. They actually linked up with Chuck Silva, which is our head brewmaster.
Awesome.
Gave him the recipe, the recipe at the time. Said, do what you want with it. And what he created today is the West Coast IPA, and that's the flagship.
That's your flagship, your all malt flagship. That's fantastic.
Absolutely.
And from there, it's kind of spanned out. And some of the ones that really make headlines are we don't have them today, but beers like Lafrique and Rayon Vert are both the ones that you hear a lot about. That's the chatter, right? Beer blogger over there, right? That's the chatter.
I like a Lafrique, but I think that the West Coast IPA is the one that they're known for most, right?
Well, they're known for it, but there's the peripherals. It's kind of like that's their flagship. And the ones that I always hear, like in blogs and stuff. Anyway,
I love Lafrique.
Yeah,
that's
so-
actually the first one I ever had.
all right, so I was trying to
couple years
segue
ago.
into those beers. Thanks a lot, Rob. No,
But we
that
don't
didn't
have-
work too
but we
well.
don't have them.
I know, but we could talk about them.
We can
can't
talk, yeah.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit about Lafrique and the whole concept behind it, and the fact that it is a Belgian IPA style.
Yeah, it is a super unique style. As far as I know, it's one of the only few, if not the only one of its kind. It's a Belgian triple / Imperial IPA, which
Freaky, man.
it is. It's
Yeah.
it's a freaky style beer. It's 9.2%,
Right.
101 IBUs, which is really good.
Wow, 101 IBUs. They say that the threshold for human taste is 100 IBUs.
Yeah.
But everybody always likes to make that 101, just in case. Just in case there's a real freak out there and he can really taste it. Oh, I can taste that beer. That beer tastes a little bit different than that beer. It's a nice point of difference. The 101. That's awesome. So, very cool. And that one's pretty well received. I do remember tasting that one probably about 6 months ago.
Yeah, a lot of people haven't had it because it was a seasonal beer.
I think they got it in just in. I remember that it was a tasting at like a Crown Liquor or something, and it was available. And I went out of my way
Right.
to go get it.
Mhm.
And the guy was telling me about it and everything, and I thought it was a very notable point of difference beer. So definitely, you guys achieved that with that one.
Yeah, now that it's year round, we're hoping that it'll take off big time.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And so you're gonna flood them. It's gonna be plenty available in the market.
Absolutely, all the distributors, in all the areas are starting to pull it in, and we're getting rave reviews on it.
Do you guys have like funky artwork and stuff? Like, I mean, do you have like a freak on the like guy or something that you use?
From
or-
what I've seen on that one, it's the brewmaster kind of dressed up.
Oh,
as
really?
yeah.
Okay. Well, George is our freak. we tend to dress him up at times, but we don't really even.
You don't
need
have to dress me up.
Yeah,
I
he's
do it all
he's
by
just-
myself.
Why don't you guys use that art on like your labels? Since this is kind of
Well, that's a good question. You know, we actually just hired a whole new marketing team, and we're in that branding mode right now. So you might see stuff like that. We have all of these beers that we're going to talk about today fall into our Flash of Genius program.
Okay.
Each one of those do have a particular art style to it. Like the
Okay.
Rayon Vert has a
Oh, am I
dinos-
saying it wrong? I'm such an idiot. Is it
Rayon
French
Vert.
word? Is it Vert?
It's
not
French.
Vert?
Yeah, it's
Okay,
French
I'm
for green
sorry.
flash. It has a dinosaur on it. You know, Britannomyces is not
Yeah.
a dinosaur.
Right.
It's a yeast. Lafrique has one. Hophead Red has one. West Coast has one. So you're going to start seeing that on all of our coasters. They're all going to be branded towards that.
Okay, fantastic. So
You can
Lafrique,
download the posters on the website.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The posters are on the website.
Jason, that's awesome. What is your website? Is it just greenflash.com?
Green
Green
Flash Brew.
Flashbrew.com.
Very cool. Now, you did mention the Britannomyces here, and I see the Rayon Vert is the Belgian-style pale ale with the Britannomyces. in it.
Correct.
Okay,
Correct.
fantastic. Now, that's very, as we, this is a beverage community, and by the way, yeah, absolutely, I'll take some more. Welcome to By the Glass. This is a show about beverage culture. We come to you every Thursday at 6 o'clock on SoFlo Radio and ByTheGlassShow.com. And let me tell you something, ByTheGlassShow.com. Getting some hits, Jason?
Oh, yeah.
Been doing pretty good,
from
huh?
the write-ups.
A lot of things. Thank you so much to Mr. Adam Nason for all the beer pulse activity that we've been getting. Look, folks, this show is getting hot. If you haven't been listening, you got to start listening because I'm bringing you the cutting edge of beverage culture every Thursday at 6.
Right.
This is By the Glass, where we drink to taste. And we will continue to drink to taste until there is no more. And when there is no more, give me the gun. I'm going to swallow it and pull the trigger.
Oh,
All right?
Holy moly.
that's commitment.
That's commitment.
What kind of locals in California drink your beer? Like the surfer crowd or well,
From what I seen the week that I was out there,
everyone?
everybody.
Yeah,
It
it's
is
in all the
every
bars out
kind of
there.
bar, yep.
Yeah.
Very cool.
What kind of bars can we look forward to having it down here?
In this area,
Are you going to be sending kegs or just bottles?
kegs, bottles, whatever
Well,
they
I know
want.
that it's been in Riverside. I saw it in Tap
okay.
42. I mean, it's a Braxis, I think.
And
down-
Riverside has taps now, right?
They
Yes.
do. They have like
Okay.
9 or 10. He's got
Wow.
like 16. He put in boxes.
Yeah, we
Wow.
actually had a huge event there last month.
Okay.
Big supporters, big supporters.
Yeah, I think I was there. I stopped by. I was.
I'm old school. I used to go there when they didn't have
Julian
taps.
thinks he was there too.
Julian thinks he was there. He doesn't know where he is. Oh, except for when he's texting me where he is. That's the only way he can keep track of himself. What? Oh, yeah, really? Okay, cool. Anyway, yeah, Riverside Market. We love the place. Big plug for Riverside. Very cool. So, located in San Diego, California, specializing in brewing assertive and distinctive beers. And how does that motto, how does that culture, how do you feel about that? I mean, how does that ring true through?
And how long have you been around?
Since 2002.
Okay.
Yeah, we covered that, Jason.
Oh, I was just sleeping.
But distinctive and assertive beers. Is that something that? How does that ring true? So, I mean, basically, you put out this one, but this one's an assertive and distinctive beer. So you can pretty much take any style that you want and make it into more of a assertive and distinctive beer. I mean, you guys are going to put your mark on it. Right?
Absolutely. I feel like each one of our beers are different in style. And then, you've got our West Coast, our standard IPA. We've got the Imperial IPA. And then we also have a palate wrecker, which is our winter season.
Palette Wrecker,
We had palate wrecker.
the Black and Decker Palette Wrecker.
You could line all three of those up, and you'll get a different taste, different
awesome.
style, which is it's great.
6 pounds of hops per barrel.
6 pounds
6
of hop per barrel
pounds.
compared to the Imperial, which is 2 pounds of hop per barrel.
Wow.
That's amazing. Now, do you guys tend to go with more house styles, or you just mix it up? You're using Centennial, Cascade.
The
anything
biggest
you
ones
want?
that I've seen: Amarillo,
A lot
Centennial,
of Amarillo.
Cascade.
I love all those. A lot of aromatics.
Absolutely.
Big, orange, tangerine, grapefruit, some pine in there. All my favorite stuff. That
On the
screams
poster,
West
on the
Coast.
poster for the pallet wrecker, it's got a boxer with a
Yeah.
punch.
Really?
Yeah.
That's pretty
Yeah.
awesome. Very cool. So, tell me a little bit about the brewery itself. I know you got a great tasting room out there, and a lot of parties going on and everything. What were some of your experiences?
I had a good time. It was. I got out there the day of the Super Bowl.
Oh, wow.
It was kind of surprising. We had a little private party, so it was kind of cool to taste all the beers that I haven't had that we can't get out here on the East Coast.
Yeah.
After that, every day they tend to bring in a different food truck,
Right.
which is kind of unique and cool.
Isn't it great that food trucks, they kind of, over there, it's interesting about California, things that we would take for granted there. Living here, you don't take them for granted. Like the fact that the proliferation of like food trucks and great beers. I mean, it's just kind of like everyday kind of stuff there.
Absolutely.
So when you're out there, you're like, oh, this is
They have
awesome.
a whole
And they're
section
just
on their
like-
website devoted to the food truck calendar.
Yeah. More back to that everyday kind of awesome thing that I was talking about. So basically, I mean, to be able to experience that all the time is really, really cool. And tell me a little bit about the beers themselves, like the ones you can't get here. I know that's got a lot to do with distributors and stuff, which we're not going to talk about. But I mean, being part of the Alliance network or that type of thing. I mean, is that going to increase? Do you think you're going to be able to see more stuff?
No, I don't think it'll increase that. I think the biggest thing that's going to help us get more stuff out is when we expand our brewery, which we're already in the process of doing, to the East Coast.
Okay, that fantastic, nice segue, brother. Tell me a little bit about that East Coast brewery or some of the plans. Now, where's it located? Fill me in.
Yeah, we've announced that we're going to build an East Coast brewery in Virginia Beach. Hopefully that'll be done by January 2015. I believe that's what I've been told.
Cool.
And in hopes with that, we can expand into a whole new horizon.
That's great. Virginia Beach, I actually was in Newport.
It's for lovers.
It is. All of Virginia's for lovers. Are you kidding me? But Newport News, I remember I was in there once, and I know that's right down from Virginia Beach, and one of the biggest ports in the country. So you guys can just going to be able to.
Well, yeah, that's the big thing is we want Virginia to be a huge market for us.
Yeah.
So putting that there, and all of our employees on the West Coast are big time surfers, the owners that way.
Absolutely.
So we want to stay in line with being near the ocean. So
That's great. Now I know too that the Maryland and that whole Chesapeake Bay area absolutely just craft, and even Washington D.C. I mean, that's what they just had the Brewers Convention.
They don't have any rules there, though. I don't think.
No rules, man.
that's
No.
what I hear.
That's
Cowabunga,
awesome,
man.
man.
Surf City.
You got to move to DC.
They don't have any rules there. What does that mean?
No rules in distribution. I don't think.
Really?
It's weird from what I've been told.
Because it's a district of Columbia. And
I don't
not a
know how
state?
it
They
works.
make all the laws, but they don't
They don't
enforce
abide by
anything.
any of
They don't
them.
make any for themselves.
That's pretty cool. I kind of like that. Yeah, maybe, but it's too damn cold there. Everybody was like, "Yeah, CBC this year, Washington D.C. It'll be about 14 degrees." I'm like, "Yeah, and I won't be going." You know what I mean? It's just like, wow, it's crazy. But no, there are tons of great craft beers out there. A lot of the scene is exploding. What a better place for a brewery.
Absolutely, and I know we're looking to expand our barrel aging program.
Oh, fantastic! Tell me all about it.
It's from what it is now. I know from what I've seen at the brewery, there's hundreds and hundreds of barrels of each different style. We've got sour styles. We've got the stout aged in barrels.
Oh, fantastic!
So they're kind of out of room because
Yeah.
they're stacked in random spots. So hopefully, when we get on the East Coast, we can just expand on that.
That's great. Now, I personally think that the next big thing in America, the hop revolution happened in the last couple of years. The next big thing will be the sour revolution, because if you look at I know this is going to sound stupid, okay, but even something as simple as candy, right? You had all these normal candies, then all of a sudden, boom, gummy bears became Sour Patch gummies. And sour, sour, sour. It's kind of like the new compliment.
I got Sour Patch in the cupboard.
Oh, you got
Yeah.
sour, all right, yeah. But no, but the interesting thing is that the hops balance the malt, correct?
Mhm.
Well, if you can take away some of the hops and add sour, that's how you balance the malt with great beers like Berliner Weisses and a lot of other strange sours, the Guzas, and all the really great stuff that we've experienced. I really think it's going to be the next thing. What are some thoughts on that?
I feel it, the same way. Sours are a real unique style.
Yeah.
It's either, from what I hear, love it or hate it.
Right.
It's not my
Hate
favorite,
it.
but it grows on you.
It does.
Speaking of hops, I'm thinking
yeah,
Hophead
yeah,
Red.
boy,
We should hop right over to the refrigerator.
Hop your butt right over to the refrigerator and get some more. All right, we'll call you Hophead Red Rob. Red Rob, roll it right over.
Now I do like we had a hoppy red beer the other day that was good, so I'm anxious to try this one.
Okay.
Is that what's next?
Yeah.
What a coincidence!
Next is the Hophead Red. You want to tell us all about it?
Yeah, it actually uses Columbus, Nugget, and Amarillo hops.
Ooh.
It's
not
pretty
the Cascade.
not the Cascade.
I can almost pick out Cascade hops now.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Nice and floral. You get some nice hibiscus and that type of thing mixed with a little bit of a piney kind of aspect. Basically, you smell a Sierra Pale Ale, and that's like the old
Right.
staple beer, and that's what you're going to get. And there's a lot of other, Cascade is a great hop. It's a staple hop. It's the hop that's used for a lot of hybrid crossbreeding.
Okay.
And
This one you definitely get a little bit of hop on the nose.
well, it's called Hophead Red. I would imagine you would. Now, red ales are great, and the way they make them, believe it or not, and especially more darker red amber ales like this, they tend to use black malts, just a slight amount. And what it'll do is in the malt bill, it's mostly two-row pale, but then they'll add just the smallest amount of a black patent malt, the one that's really burned dark, and it just gives it a tinge, and it turns it red. And that's kind of how they do that.
It's like if you left a pack of cigarettes in a bucket of water.
I've done that. Now, this is an interesting smell on the nose, and and everybody always yells at me when I say
No,
this.
it's,
And
I know what you're saying.
you know what I'm going to say,
Yeah,
right?
cat
And-
piss, Jones.
Cat piss, and and it's not a bad thing. I've tasted about 3 beers and about 4 wines in the last month that have had this on the nose, and
No, it usually winds up tasting pretty good.
and it always tastes good. It's probably one of my favorite smells now, and I've even heard it in a few different wine shows that I've been listening to, podcasts.
It's a little hoppy.
It's definitely that smell is a very distinct smell.
It's hoppy. It's bitter.
It's a little hoppy, but it goes away quick.
Not
Yeah.
intolerable.
Well, that's because of the
Has a
full.
nice caramel flavor.
Yeah, the
because
caramel.
of the-
yeah.
I didn't even taste it yet, but I could imagine the malt.
No, the
base in
caramel
it.
comes away and like sweeps away my tongue or
Right.
the hops.
And that's the nice thing about it. It's not as
Oh, yeah.
overbearing sometimes.
I
as
tell
the
you what,
West
this
Coast can
beer
be.
is very refreshing, very flavorful. Caramel works its way into like a kind of like a toffee, almost like a Heath
Yeah.
bar, Heath toffee.
Yeah, it comes through at the end.
because
a
there's
lot
kind of
stronger than the
raisin
hops
notes
did.
from the caramel malts.
Well, it takes you
very
on
nice.
an adventure.
Absolutely.
Wow, Jason, wow.
You gonna write that down for your blog? Takes you on
I
an
will
adventure.
write that.
Absolutely, fantastic. I like this one a lot.
I might even say Jason said it.
Yeah.
He gets a word in edgewise.
Every once in a while.
Every once in a while. Can't shut him up sometimes. But this is great. We are here on By the Glass on SoFlo Radio. We come to you every Thursday at 6. We got Jeff Croy. He's the Southeast Regional Sales Rep for Green Flash Brewing. He's in studio. We want to thank him so much for coming down and bringing all these great beers to talk about us. It's a West Coast brew day. That's what we're doing. We're sitting here trying all these great West Coast beers. Now, you can pretty much find this stuff everywhere.
Yeah, you can find them in any Total Wine, any ABC Liquor, and then there's a lot of, any World of Beer that's out there, Brass Taps that are out there, and then as we grow, hopefully more and more
Yeah.
bars.
Brass Tap's coming.
Brass
Not here
Taps
yet.
is coming. It is.
We got 2 coming at least. There's a lot of new bars coming down here, and a lot of those bars are not putting. They're putting only all malt, no adjunct beers online. So you're looking at 90 taps of no adjunct beers.
Right.
And it's going to be
It's
crazy.
exciting. It helps the whole craft game, which is what we all want.
It helps the community
Right.
because everybody's beers are going to be portrayed and displayed for enjoyment. And in the end of the day, that's what it's really all about. We just want, because, when I go into places, I want to try all different kinds of stuff. I usually get the sampler or the flight and try, 5-6 beers at a time, as
Yeah,
opposed
me
to
too.
going in and just drinking one beer.
Absolutely.
So I'm all about it. Absolutely. All right, so I'm also all about a break right now. So let's take a quick one. We'll go to commercial when we come back. We're going to have a special call-in about 6:30. We're going to have Mr.
Dave Adams.
Dave Adams, excuse me. Dave Adams is calling in. Now, he's the tasting room manager?
He is the tasting room manager. He's the man.
Awesome. I can't wait to talk to Dave and hear all about his experiences and his adventures with beer when we come back on SoFlo Radio on ByTheGlassShow.com.
The most important online radio station in the world. SoFloRadio.com. Put a team of professional consultants behind your home or business computer with Key Information Solutions, providing solutions to your internet and computing needs while keeping you on the cutting edge of technology. Preventative maintenance and networking support, hardware and custom-built computers. Let Key Information Solutions be your personal tech staff for your home or office with affordable hourly, monthly, or annual rates to fit anyone's budget. Call Key Information Solutions now. 954-973-3374. That's 954-973-3374. Or visit keyinformation.com.
Hi, this is George. Trying to get laid all day makes me hungry, so I go to Power Smoothie in Aventura and get the healthiest wraps and most delicious smoothies ever made. I mean, really, the smoothies are so insanely delicious, they're orgasmic. The staff is friendly there and cute. The food is healthy and real, not processed. This is not fast food, it's good food served fast, and they love me there. They even let me create my own smoothie, the Malted Jorge. Go in and ask for one. They're in the Promenade Shops right off of US 1 in Aventura, or call them at 305-792-5338. You can also visit them online at powersmoothieaventura.com.
Social media marketing. You know your business needs it, but you have no clue on how to do it. And who has the time?
Don't worry, you're not alone. Mouse Media is here to help.
Mouse Media has linked creativity, art, and technology to expand your web presence and increase traffic to your site. Visit them at mousemedia.us.
That's mousemedia.us.
Or follow Mouse Media on Twitter and on Facebook.
mousemedia.us.
Hey, this is John Etch from the Sports Head Show. Log on to SoFloRadio.com every Tuesday and every Thursday and hear the best in sports talk. On Tuesday, it is from 7 to 9, and on Thursday, it is from 8 to 10. So log on to the best website in the world, SoFloRadio.com. Peace.
And now we return you to By the Glass.
By the Glass. California knows how to party, and so do we here in South Florida every Thursday at 6 on SoFlo Radio. This is By the Glass Show, and we're bringing you the best in beverage culture every Thursday at 6. We drink the taste, baby, and we tell you all about it. It's a lot of fun. And I'm joined in studio today by Mr. Jeff Croy. He is the Southeast Regional Sales Rep for Green Flash Brewing.
What?
Green Flash Brewing. Get it out, boy. Yeah, we just tried the Hophead Red, and I was sitting here in the notes, resinous hop characteristics, very so, very so. Enormous hopping with Columbus, Nugget, and Amarillo.
Correct.
And I definitely tasted the Amarillo. It came through big time.
Yeah, it's dry hopped with the Amarillo, so
Yeah.
that one really stands out to me.
Yeah, Ed, I can tell the difference between Amarillo and Cascade hops. Thank you.
Ed's texting me.
Ed's texting you? What is he saying?
He's
Jeez.
talking about Jason.
That's classic. But the funny thing is that you picked that rich caramel malt base is really the basis behind it, and it really is a nice characteristic of the beer. I really enjoyed this one because even though it says Hophead Red, you guys, the base of the actual beer is enough maltiness to balance it out quite well.
Yeah, it finishes nicely.
Yeah, great
Yeah,
head.
this tends to be the best seller in Florida, believe it or not.
Yeah, because it's a light, when you get into these kinds of beers and the styles, when it comes into reds, either they're a little bit too light or they're too heavy. Very rarely do you find something in between. And this one seems to fit right nicely in between. But once again, the head on it, the yeast propagation, it talks a lot about your yeast and how you keep it. It's funny, if you watch a lot of YouTube like I do on brewing, it's funny, I got the new TV with the little box I bought at Walmart for $50, and you can get on YouTube on your regular television.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, with the So I go on YouTube on the big television, and I just sit there and watch brewing, like Northern Brewer, like Brew TV and that stuff, just to watch these guys brew. And these funny guys from like Minnesota, they're like, yeah, it's 38 below outside. We're gonna go out and brew ourselves a batch. Some, Imperial IPA today. And these guys are just like hilarious, and they're staying outside. Yeah, I think it just warmed up 2 degrees, and they're saying we're going to make ourselves a barley wine. So it's pretty fun, though, to watch that happen. And the interesting thing about it is that you really start to understand like what they go through from start to finish when they're brewing these beers. Now, the guy had bought himself he had his own yeast that he would skim off the top of his old batches, and then he would keep that in a certain glass that he would wash the yeast after he was done at skimming it, and then he would keep it in there. Then he had a little a beaker, and he bought some malt extract, some dried malt extract, and he boiled that up, and then he added a little bit of his yeast to it, and he put it on a stir plate for 36 hours so that sucker was ready to go. Like his yeast was like active and ready. Like he was making a barley wine. He wanted to make sure that it was big and bold. So these are the types of things that you tend to look at now as you look at beers, and the yeast behind them is it's just life's blood of what you guys are doing.
It really is, especially with our Belgian styles.
Yeah,
it really is.
Now, when it comes to actual styles, and do you guys have like a house style of Belgian that you've propagated and kept and cultured yourself, or do you just tend to go with something that you purchase, let's say?
No, we've got our wild yeast that we keep,
right?
That we use.
I'm just enjoying some Hophead Red there.
There you go.
It seems to be very dangerous to work with certain wild yeast, Brettanomyces. I mean, that stuff will infect. And
the Brettanomyces is extremely powerful,
yeah,
and extremely, complex.
Right.
We found that out with the Rayon Vert. It's
really,
yeah, it's super carbonated. It's unexpected. When we first sent it out, people weren't expecting to open the bottle, and it sometimes,
the cork will hit you in the head,
fizz out. I've actually been walking down the street on a brick road, and it's so much disturbance that it's popped the top off of it.
Really?
Yeah. But we're actually sending, so-called warning labels out to people that, so they know what to expect when they open
In
it.
California, that's considered a drive-by when the things start popping off.
Dave Adams, is he calling in from the West Coast?
He is calling
Does
in from the West
Does that
Coast.
remind you of
He's
like
calling
a beer?
us, right?
He's calling us. He's calling in. He's the tasting room manager over at the brewery, and I want to ask him all kinds of crazy questions like.
So West Coast IPA.
West Coast
Oh.
IPA.
Yeah, that was
Are
a-
you ready? You're
oh,
ready
man.
for a West Coast IPA?
You're not
Man.
following
Let's
along
do
the
it.
hints over here.
Jeez, yeah, go for it. Yeah, bring it out.
We
Boy,
could be
this
in
guy.
mid-drink.
He turned me into an alcoholic.
Too late.
It's gonna be drink to stumble instead of drink to taste around here. It's pretty funny. No, but we'd love to have some West Coast IPA. Have him talk a little bit about the beers, and that's basically what he does. He's there talking about the beers all day, and he's representative when you come in.
And he's very good at it. He's a great job. He prides himself on knowing anything and everything. He's Cicerone certified.
Fantastic.
He's pretty much the highest. Well, I don't want to say highest, smartest guy in the staff because the brewmaster's a really smart guy, but he does a great job.
Very cool. Very cool. Now, I guess I can get into. I've been to San Diego a few times, and I love the Gas Lamp District. Jason, were you with me once we went to Gas Lamp District?
Yeah, we had a blast there.
We had a blast there. A couple of great Mexican restaurants, a lot of tequila, always fun. We always would stop.
I've been
in
to San Diego several times.
Yes, and I would always stop into San Diego on my way down to Tijuana. Yes. So.
Yeah, I've heard great things about the Gas Lamp District.
Now,
Oh,
where
yeah.
are you guys located in correlation to that?
I've only been out there one
Okay,
time,
okay.
so it's kind of confusing. I know that's downtown, I think.
Right, yeah.
We're a little bit like 15, 20 minutes is what the car ride was for me to get out
Okay,
to where
okay,
we were.
so that makes sense.
I hope it was north.
It was north. We were not south.
And the beauty of this West Coast, and not gonna steal his thunder too much when he calls in, but yeah, that's an interesting thing because the color of this is perfect, exactly what you want your IPA to look like, just enough. I'm sure it's 2-row pale and probably Carmel 80 in there, which is a classic blend. I would
I'm
imagine.
not getting as much hops from this as the other one.
Oh, really? That's interesting.
Yeah, a lot of people say that the other one's a lot more bitter than this one.
Fantastic.
take that,
and I
Ed Roberts.
do believe Mr. Dave Adams, tasting room manager for Green Flash Brewing, is on the line. Dave, welcome to By the Glass Show.
Hey, thank you very much.
How you doing, buddy?
Doing excellent.
Awesome. Yeah, well, I know it's only like 3:30 there, but
I'm sure he's drinking beer.
We're enjoying
Happy
a
hour
nice,
here.
We're enjoying a nice
Yeah,
almost
no,
sunset.
it's fun to drink beer at 3:30. There's no problem with that.
Yeah, absolutely. I can almost see the green flash of the sunset as it falls into the sky. And I look over here to the right, and I have Mr. Jeff Croy sitting with me. He's so kind to join us in studio today. But thank you so much for calling in. And what perfect timing, because we just popped a West Coast IPA, and we were
there you
discussing
go.
the difference in the hop character as opposed to the Hophead Red. Would you like to comment on that, sir?
Yeah, sure. In the Hophead Red, we use some different hops that would make it a little more resinous, I'd say. The West Coast IPA has a lot of grapefruit and citrus
yeah.
notes in it, which I really like a lot.
Yeah.
And then the balance of malts that we use in the Hophead Red makes it a really nice beer as well. I think the Hophead's maybe more of like a beginner intro to hoppy beers, even though it is really aggressively hoppy. That caramel malt balance really makes it more palatable for people that aren't used to the big dry hoppy ones. The West Coast is going to be much sharper, more bitter, slight caramel malt character, definitely higher in the bitterness level. I believe the Hophead's about 70 IBUs, and West Coast is up to 95, so it's way up there.
Now, is that achieved by different kettle editions, like late kettle editions, or different actual varietals of hop?
A little bit of both. So there's a couple different things about hops. So hops are rated by alpha acids.
Right.
And the alpha acid content is the bitterness of it. So it's basically the weight of the cone and the percent of that that's made up of the resins in the lupulin gland, which is what creates the bitterness, is what it's rated by. So it's a scale from about 0 to 20. So if you use maybe like 14, 15% alpha acid hops, those are real bitter. When you're adding those into the kettle, as you mentioned, that's going to give you a lot of those bittering qualities to it. So we use a lot of those high alpha acid bittering hops in the West Coast IPA early in the kettle to extract as much bitterness as we can.
Fantastic. No, I absolutely see what you mean. I'm getting a lot of definitely more citrus off this. I get a lot of grapefruit. It's a bright, crisper beer, the West Coast IPA.
Yeah, it's really bright. We definitely filter it, and it's nice and dry too. So it makes for a really nice, clean, crisp, dry beer. And they're both dry, but like I said, the extra caramel malts and the Hophead Red is going to make it a little bit different character.
Very cool. Now, are you guys located? Is your tasting room in a vicinity of the brewery, or is it actually connected to it?
Oh yeah, no, it's cool. It's actually like inside of it, pretty much.
Oh wow!
So when you're in the tasting room itself, it's pretty much connected to the brewery, so you can sit out on the outer edges of the tasting room and actually see everything going on. It's right next to the bottling line. You can see all the fermentation tanks. You can see some of the packaged beer that we have hanging out there. You can see a lot of our bourbon barrels that we age our double stout in. So it's a real close connection to the actual brewery itself.
So by going, is there some? Tell us about some of the cool, great stuff that you can only get. Let's say if you're coming to the brewery. I mean, are there some offerings that are only, brewery tasting room offered? Yeah, definitely. There's, I mean, they still kind of go out here and there, but for all intents and purposes, we'll just say that they're brewery only. So one would be our Silva Stout. That would probably be the most popular one. So what we do is we take our double stout, and then we acquire a bunch of Heaven Hill whiskey barrels that are just dripping wet, basically. We get them right out of the distillery, because to make bourbon, it's got to be fresh, new American oak. So once they use those one time, they're kind of spent for them. So then they sell them off. We grab them. We clean them up. We throw our double stout in there. It sits in there for about a year and a half. And then we do this awesome blending of it where we'll blend a bunch of barrels together as well as a fresh batch of double stout and possibly even an aged batch of double stout to really achieve the result that we're looking for. And the end result is a much more integrated, just really lovely beer that has all kinds of vanilla and caramel going on. Definitely not as much the sharp roast bitterness as you would get out of the regular double stout. And we actually won a silver medal at Great American Beer Festival for that last year. Yeah, you guys have a lot of medals here. I'm just looking, and there's tons of awards and accolades from the GABF, the 2009 bronze, 2007 silver, 2011 gold for American Red Ale. That's awesome. And the World
Yeah, we
Beer
got a few of them hanging out there.
Yeah, very cool. Now, talk to me a little bit about experimentation. When you guys are looking to make a new beer, you want to get funky and crazy, and you're thinking of doing something. I mean, is that you guys have pilot system that you work off of? Are you involved in some of the tasting of that? That must be really fun.
That's funny. Yeah, it's funny you should ask that. We actually don't have a pilot system, and I remember when I first took a tour of the brewery before I got hired, or right after I got hired, and I asked Chuck about that, our brewmaster. So yeah, where do we come up with the new batches? Is there like a little? Our brewery is a 50-barrel brew house, by the way, so we make 100 kegs at a time. Wow. So I said, yeah, where's our pilot system at? We have like a little 1-barrel, 2-barrel system that we can test some stuff out on. And he's like, here it is, right here. You're looking at it. And he pointed to the 50-barrel brew house. So, all right, well, there you go. So, yes, our pilot system, when we come up with new inventive batches of beers, we do them 100 kegs at a time.
Wow, that's awesome. Now, I heard you mention Chuck Silva. Tell me a little bit about him for the people at home that don't know about your brewmaster, maybe some history or some interesting stories about him, if you don't mind.
Oh, man, I have so many interesting stories about him. So, he started with us 2 years after the company got started in 2004. And previous to us being the way that most people know us right now, being a big, hop-forward brewery and making a lot of great Belgian-style beers and things like that, we used to make a lot of, beach-going beers and just really low in aggressiveness and not, super crazy flavorful like the ones that we have now, all low alcohol as well. And then when Chuck came on board, Mike Hinckley, our owner, said, hey, we want to make the quintessential West Coast-style IPA. And, do you think you can do that? He goes, well, sure, I can do that, but, it's going to be much higher in alcohol than any of the things that we have, and it's also going to be, really bitter and assertive. And he goes, cool, let's do that. That's what we want to do. He goes, all right. And then so he made West Coast IPA, and that was, that's kind of the beer that put us on the map and made us where we are now. So, yeah, Chuck's a great guy. He's got a great palate. He comes up with all kinds of cool recipes, and I think the thing that I like about his brews, just being from a brew fan standpoint, I've been in the craft beer industry for 7 years now, and I always like the layers of flavors that he adds in. It's not always, with West Coast IPA, we use a bunch of different hops. We don't use one hop varietal, and we, there's tons of layering of flavors, and hopefully you guys can get that as you're tasting the beer over there, that there's a lot of complexity going on.
Well, that's the interesting thing about it, and I like to call it a marriage when it comes to something like that, because they are really working well together, although most marriages, Anyway.
What?
No, but...
who are you talking about?
But basically, the interesting thing about it, and this more goes to blending wine, is that you hear a good wine, an old school winemaker tell you that if you blend, like 3 or 4 colors together, you might get a beautiful purple or a violet hue. But if you blend 5 or 6 or too many, what do you get? You always get gray. So it's really knowing how much to blend, how to do it, what to blend, exactly how that goes. It's a true art that obviously you guys
really
have achieved in these beers.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I totally agree. And the layering of hops that we do is I think really unique to our brewery in that we add them in at different times during the boil, during the whirlpool. We use tons of different varietals of hops. I think we probably have well over 20 different varietals of hops that we're using right now in house, along with 7 yeast strains or so. So there's plenty of different ways that we go about the beers, and Chuck does a good job managing all that. And I think a big part, speaking with Mike, I was just out in New York doing some beer classes and beer and food pairings and stuff, and I was speaking with him about how we do the different beers and just the way that we're kind of changing with the times, which I think is great. I love seeing the breweries, the older breweries, the craft breweries that have been around for a while that are updating their image and constantly changing. I think that we're on that page too, that we don't want to settle with just making West Coast for the rest of our lives. We want to keep pushing the envelope and making new and different things. And, that comes down to using new techniques and new hop varietals and new kinds of yeast and bacteria and things like that. And I think we do a great job of staying on the cutting edge and keeping our, lineup fresh with new, interesting things.
Yeah, it's funny. I was just going to ask you, what do you see for the future of California beer? Because here in Florida, it's, basically the sky's the limit. We're just getting it. We're at the tip of the spear, just getting into the whole craft thing. But you guys are the veterans. I mean, I lived in San Francisco about 15 years ago, and we would walk in, and, you could get a Sierra Nevada, an Anchor Steam, a Paulander, something like that, maybe even a Stone or something like that. But you could never, there was never anything that was run of the mill, or we didn't even drink anything that wasn't, great beer. And that was 15 years ago, and I was talking to Jeff over here, and I said, personally, I think that, the big hop, which you guys definitely put on the map, which is, definitely what is beer now. But in the future, what do you see? And I kind of think that sours are kind of the way things might be in the future. How do you feel about sours? Like Berliner Weisses and that type of thing.
I love sour beers to death. I mean, they're great. I actually thoroughly hated them the first time I tried them, as probably most people did. But yeah, I love sours. I think that's a good wave of the future. Although not super sustainable as far as a brewery, like a production brewery standpoint, because it takes so long to make them. Yeah. And to make them consistently is really difficult to do.
They're definitely specialty
when you're talking
products.
About putting the beer in a barrel and leaving it there for a couple years. Yeah. So you're a startup brewery making sour beers only. You don't even have a beer until at least a year plus into your process of opening your brewery. So that becomes difficult, and it's usually more of a side project. We actually made a sour last year, a Flanders-style sour that is beautiful. It's called Flanders Drive Ale. We're actually on Flanders Drive over here in Mira Mesa in central San Diego, and that beer is just plain old great. Uses some lactobacillus in it and some lactic acid bacteria that makes it really nice and tart, and has these deep wood and oaky notes to it. It's great. But dynamic. As far as I see the future of beer going, I'm starting to see a trend of a lot of sessionable beers. So a lot of people are making big, flavorful beers that are a little bit lower ABV. So I remember, maybe at least 7 or 8 years ago, it was all about, let's make the craziest thing that we can. We want to make a 13% Imperial Stout. We want to make, a double IPA that has 1 million IBUs. And we just want to use as much bitterness that we can and make it a super high alcohol beer. And I'm starting to see the trend of that generation, bringing down the ABV and making things that are a little more sessionable, that are, low alcohol, like 4 or 5%, but nice and hoppy, or just plain old full of flavor in general. I think that's the trend where I see things going to.
Very cool. No, I agree. I think that those are the kinds of beers that you could sit down, have a few, and really enjoy the flavor. And one thing we promote on this show, By the Glass, is all about beverage culture. I like to say we drink to taste around here, and you want to taste as many different kinds of beers as you can. It's not just about holing up to the bar and slamming down a bunch of lagers anymore. So I think that's fantastic. And
yeah, I agree. I mean, I think that doing tasters of beers, just as a recommendation, anybody going into craft beer bars and stuff, don't settle for a pint of whatever you want. I highly recommend going and getting half pints or tasters if you can. You can really develop your knowledge and your palate and your sensory vocabulary by trying a wide variety of beers, and maybe even step outside your comfort zone. That's a big part of what I talk to my employees about. And
I do it all the time.
Kind of getting, sorry?
Jason says he does it
I
all
do
the
it
time
all the
in his
time.
comfort zone.
Yeah. I mean,
He's doing it right now.
I ask people all the time, like, what's their favorite, Doffelbach or something, Well, I don't know, I just drink IPAs all day. Well, okay, you got to go outside and find out, because how did you ever find out that you liked IPAs? It was because you tried it, because you've never had an IPA before. So same kind of idea. I definitely encourage people to go out and try all kinds of different beers and different styles and, see what they like.
Very cool. Well, wealth of wisdom and knowledge, Mr. Dave Adams, tasting room manager, Green Flash Brewing, San Diego, California. Thank you so much for calling in to Buy the Glass, sir. You're an awesome interview, and we really appreciate your input.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Yeah, thank you very much for
Great.
having me.
Hopefully
guys.
one day I'll be out there and I'll come see you, okay? We'll drink some beers.
You got it.
All right, buddy. Thanks so much. Have a great day. Well, I'll tell you, Dave's a cool guy.
He really is.
And you were right. He really knows his stuff.
Yeah, he's super knowledgeable.
Well, he's a perfect guest for this show, because what we like to bring is the word of mouth right from the people that do it every day.
Absolutely.
He's in the heart of it. He's making the beer.
Be
He's
careful,
putting
George.
Experimental beers on a 50-gallon system or 50-barrel system.
Oh, my
That's
God.
pretty funny he said that.
Yeah.
Did you see? Did you go
100
check out
kegs.
100 kegs? Yeah. Well,
Yeah, dude.
let's experiment 100 kegs at a time.
Don't
You know
mess
what
it
I mean?
up.
And they don't think they're going to screw it up, I would imagine.
Yeah, I did see it. It's
Wow.
It's impressive, and they're actually adding more tanks as we speak.
Wow.
In the future.
Hop Slam don't have nothing on this beer.
There you go. Oh, a ringing endorsement.
Wow.
Yeah.
Imperial IPA, huh?
This is good.
Yeah.
It is really good.
It's
Now,
not
what's
that
interesting
bitter.
about this is it looks probably the same color as the West Coast, maybe a little lighter. It seems, but I haven't tasted it yet. But what is there on the aromatics on the nose on this one?
I didn't even smell
I
it.
don't
So
want
I
to
feel like-
right to the
I don't want to cloud your judgment, but it's a little hoppy.
This is very
I
far
get a
from
little
beer
maybe,
flavor.
Maybe this has a
Yeah,
little cascade.
it doesn't
in
even taste like beer to me, to be honest with you.
Do you get more floral, like almost a little bit of cascade in this one?
Yeah, I'm definitely tasting Cascade hops at Roberts.
Right.
Well, what we actually use is a blend of Summit and Nugget hops.
Okay,
Oh,
so
damn it!
all
I'm
right.
wrong.
It tastes very
Hold
similar.
on, let me look at the notes.
I'm not as refined as
nose.
Jason on the.
Yeah. Boy, I wish I
on the
would've
hop
known that
chart.
one. Yeah. Very, very good though. Interesting beer. Yeah, he's right. Here we go. Summit and Nugget. But,
Wow.
Of course
beautiful.
he's right.
But this is beautiful. And then once again, the lemon meringue head.
Yeah.
I mean, it's whipped cream. It's whipped like beautiful on there. So great live yeast. And
Yeah, I mean, it's just super hoppy, intense flavor. If that's what they're going for, they definitely achieved it.
This is delicious.
Can't
But you
argue
know
about
what's
that.
beautiful about this beer? It's all about gravity, Jason. Now, when I say gravity, I mean mouthfeel and concentration.
Gravity, it goes down the drain.
This is beautiful.
Is it-
This is
is it
an
its
excellent
grave?
concentration and mouthfeel on this one of definitely concentrated malts, where the hops are just there to balance it out. This is very good. This is very
Thank you.
tasty.
Just
I
there,
actually-
they smack you in the face and run you over with a steamroller.
No, but I felt that this one, due to the the good gravity on this beer and the
you said
nice
due
malt
to-
structure, it definitely balances the hops though pretty well.
I
mean, the
agree.
West Coast IPA is
I'll give
much
you that
more
on the
in your
red one.
face.
On the red one, the caramel balanced it out. But on this one, the hops stay with you. It ends
Yeah.
with you. It leaves an aftertaste on your mouth. And for someone who doesn't
More-
like hops,
there's
I'm
more
gonna
alpha
try to
acids
try to
in
get
this
used to this.
Less
I'm gonna give it that
aromatics,
old
a little bit
college
more
try.
alpha. What do you think, Rob? A little more alpha in this one?
Oh,
he
yeah.
loves it.
Yeah, yeah. I
No,
think this
but
is
it-
fantastic.
But it's not over the top.
It's really
it
not
is
over
balanced.
the top.
It is
no, this is
balanced.
well balanced beer. Definitely.
Maybe it's just me today.
It is just you.
No,
Jump out the window.
I agree with you, Jason. Although I
Why,
don't,
thank you, George.
I'm
Well, screw the
I'm
both
gonna,
of you.
I'm gonna work on this. I'm gonna acquire
training?
this taste.
I'm trying. Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Certainly since starting
You
to
gonna
do this
beat your
show.
liver?
When we started
Shall I
doing this
hit you in
show,
the
yeah,
kidneys?
and I didn't even know why I didn't like
when we
certain
first
beers.
started doing the show, we
Yeah.
would have poured this out.
Yeah, out my nose. I would.
They
this,
did pour them out.
This would have gone right out my nose, like
Freaking
bad.
guys.
But
Swear to God, they're trying to ruin
I've gotten
me.
used to some different. You've expanded my flavor profile.
I can
since we started
appreciate
doing
where
this.
they're going with it. It's just not for me.
See,
Right. No,
some
but
of
it's
us
a
really
very-
like malt and like all malty beers.
But
like
you know what? The
Guinness.
funny thing about this, George, is
coming.
it's got a great sweet malt profile.
I can't find it.
If you had that much malt without the hops, it wouldn't taste right. I mean,
and I'm
that's the
looking
beauty of the
for it,
beer.
My tongue's going on an expedition looking for the malt.
Oh, it's an adventurous expedition, isn't it?
Next bureau balance.
Where's
it out.
the
You
malt?
I never
Mark
feel
the
like
Barbary Coast to San Diego.
I feel like I'm never set down lightly with that. I have it in my mouth. It's good. I mean, it's there, and it never ends. It just
It insists upon itself.
exactly.
So you know what that means, Jeff? Great beer. It really
Absolutely.
is. It really is. Green Flash, man. I've liked all these beers. I really have. And they're quality beers, and you can go out and find them in a lot of retail around here.
Yeah, this is a year-round beer.
Oh, great.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I finished my sample.
The interesting thing about this beer is it's hot out in Florida, but you could drink this and it would be refreshing.
It really isn't too overpowering, you know.
No.
You know,
It's
for an
very
everyday
nice.
drinkable beer.
I gotta say. Hey. So let's take another quick break, and when we come back, we're going to continue on. We're going to drink more beer because we still got
Yay.
at least one left.
More
and I
hoppy
think
beer.
George might actually stop complaining because it's a double stout.
Yeah.
He's a big stout guy. Although
That's
to
all
say
me.
that he would stop complaining, probably.
I'm wearing my stout hat.
Okay,
See?
so
All right.
there you go. We're gonna do that. We're gonna have some more fun and drink some more beer like we always do on Body Glass on SoFloRadio.com.
SoFloRadio.com. No ugly chicks allowed.
When you're ready to actually lose weight safely and steadily while being monitored by a physician, the Weight Loss Clinic of Dr. Kim Jacobson is there for you. The family medicine practice was established by her father in 1956 and continues as a medical practice that now specializes in weight reduction. Dr. Kim Jacobson joined the practice 20 years ago as both a family medicine practitioner and weight loss specialist. The Weight Loss Clinic utilizes a combination of appetite suppression medication and vitamins to produce great results, usually 3 to 4 pounds per week for most patients. Now you can change your lifestyle while still enjoying your own food, just less of it. They offer a choice of 2, 3, or 4-week plans. So whether you just need to lose a few pounds or a lot, the Weight Loss Clinic of Dr. Kim Jacobson can help you. They're located at 5454 Northeast 4th Avenue in Miami, just 2 blocks west of 54th Street and Biscayne Boulevard. Call them at 305-751-0091. They'll be happy to answer any and all of your questions. That's 305-751-0091. Get started on a beautiful new body today with Dr. Kim Jacobson and the Weight Loss Clinic.
CBC5 is the executive liaison for all your building compliance needs. Serving South Florida from the Palm Beaches to Key West, CBC5 delivers 5-star service that brings
Let's just say BC, BDQ, or whatever.
CBC5. It stands for Complete Building Compliance.
Oh, I ain't building nothing, so what can they do for me?
Well, they do more than plan review and permitting. They help the little guy cut through red tape.
I got duct tape holding together my carport.
Well, CBC5 can help. Let them deal with bureaucrats. They helped George Rodriguez solve a sewer lateral problem, and they saved him a ton of money and hassles.
By City Hall, who can do that?
CBC5 can do that. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have a commercial to finish. Contact Shoddy the Hottie at CBC5 786-255-3851 or log on to cbc5.net. That's cbc5.net.
Put a team of professional consultants behind your home or business computer with Key Information Solutions, providing solutions to your internet and computing needs while keeping you on the cutting edge of technology. Preventative maintenance and networking support, hardware and custom-built computers. Let Key Information Solutions be your personal tech staff for your home or office with affordable hourly, monthly, or annual rates to fit anyone's budget. Call Key Information Solutions now, 954-973-3374. That's 954-973-3374. Or visit keyinformation.com.
Say, remember when radio was fun?
Now it's dead.
Because deregulation has allowed one massive corporation to spread its tentacles like a giant octopus, absorbing radio stations around the globe. And that's why you hear this.
SoFlo Radio will stand and fight the corporate monolith. SoFloRadio.com. SoFloRadio.com. And now we return you to By the Glass.
Rider. He's getting me some beer, yeah. Jason and George.
Dead man gave this to me.
Kinda queer, yeah. All right, welcome back to Behind the Glass. We're having a good time. Yeah, we're having fun. That's what we do. Thursdays at 6. You get it? Tune in. Okay. So we're back, and we're drinking a lot of really great beer. We got Jeff Croy. He's the Southeast Regional Sales Rep for Green Flash Brewing, folks. That's that thing you see when the sun goes down, green flash. So every time you see it, go get a beer.
Not the red kind that we're all familiar with.
Yeah, it's the green flash.
Or
Green
the blinding
kind.
white, which is another
blinding
thing.
light, blinding white. It depends on what you're interested in. So no, but we've had some. We had just had Mr. Dave Adams call in, and we can't thank him enough because what a great interview. He's the kind of guy I really love to have on the show because he gives you so much insight. He's so well spoken and eloquent. Unlike
I drank
myself.
it all on.
And
just a side note, hey, anytime you're out traveling, why don't you look up local breweries and stuff and see if you can go take a tour? You know, they do tours there, so if you're definitely in San Francisco, check it out.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
or if you're in San Diego.
San Diego, yeah, that's what I meant, sorry.
If you're in San Francisco, go check it out. It might take
Go
you 6
check out
hours
another
to drive
brewery.
down there, but you can definitely go check it out.
But
if I was on the West Coast, I'd go.
My point was, anywhere you go, they have breweries, so go check it out. Local
Absolutely,
breweries, support them.
Absolutely.
Fantastic. So, a little bit about what's going on with the brewery in the future. We talked a little bit about a possible label change, or as far as maybe adding some more artists.
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly what's
Okay.
going on and what they're going for.
Right.
I know we're in a we just hired a whole new marketing staff.
Okay.
And they're in the process of, switching the branding deal.
Right. Okay.
Like I said, the coasters are all Flash of Genius styles now, so they're all labeled. They're all really cool looking. They stand out. Who knows from there what you might see.
They redeemed themselves with this brew right here.
I got to tell you, I just looked
This
at the
is-
label, and look, there's the outer halo of yellow and orange,
Yep.
and then it works into just that last green flash. This is nice. I like it. Very cool.
I never got that. I always thought it was about superheroes or something.
This is
Seriously.
This is erasing the memory of the last beer.
Yes, absolutely. It's I could use this for mouthwash.
Very cool. This is double stout black ale, which very cool because generally stouts they don't add that whole black ale
very
concept.
chewy.
It's
Yeah.
thick.
Okay.
Really, really good.
Thick. Yeah.
This is exceptional beer.
And it's got some hops in there, but
it does.
Well,
totally blended perfectly.
Okay, so interesting thing, Jason. Gravity units, which is basically concentration, okay, sugar pre-fermentation, to bitterness units, which is basically alpha acids and aromatics that you taste. GU to BU, okay, is a ratio in which we measure beers and their overall malt to bitterness balance, okay? And this one here, stouts such as this have the highest GU to BU ratio. So in order to get that really dense, dark malt that you get from these types of malts that are used to make a stout, you need to increase your IBUs and your hop levels to match that. So your GU
But it
to
still
BU
only
and
brings it
like
down
this-
to 45 IBUs.
Right, but for this style, for the general style of beer, gravity to bitterness, it is the highest. And you know what's one of the highest? Are stouts, Irish stouts, such as Guinness.
Okay.
And I bet you didn't know that, but now you do.
All
Anyway,
right.
go right ahead.
We do now.
Yeah, this is a great beer. This is actually turning into one of the most popular ones that I sample out to people as I go around the
Fantastic beer.
state.
It's delicious.
Little smoky, I think.
Little smoky.
It's
I
got
get,
a little smoky, yeah.
I get
I'm a little
caramel. I
smoky.
get toffee.
I get molasses.
Well, we use the Golden
Coffee.
Naked Oats.
Okay.
We also use the Dark Crystal and
Oh,
roasted
nice.
malts as well.
Yeah, the dark crystal.
I don't
definitely gives
taste
you that
Cascade
toffee.
hops in here.
Well, you know what? Interesting thing about stouts, Jason, you're going to have more of your classic traditional European nobles.
Noble
so it'd
hop.
be Fugel,
All right.
or something around that.
Yeah,
type
that's what
of
I'm getting.
East Kent Golding, that type of thing.
Yeah. This is great. I mean, for 8.8%, I don't get that big, bold flavor that most imperial stouts give out.
Right. No, absolutely. No, it definitely doesn't have the finish
shiver
of
Yeah.
of alcohol in the spine. It doesn't come through. It's
not
all
like, it's not like an old Rasputin, which kind of
Right.
like sets
Yeah.
you back a little bit.
Yeah, no.
You
it's
got
all
your flashlight,
chocolate.
George?
I love
Yeah.
old Rasputin.
Yeah, it's a great beer.
I don't
It
think
is
you're.
a great
I don't
beer.
think you're
As we-
shining a light through there at all.
And as we enjoy all these wonderful,
There we
wonderful
go.
beers,
Hold on.
we like to do so responsibly. Please do not drink and drive. Enjoy all
Do
beers
it.
responsibly. Do not drink under 21.
I can't see the.
I
Never
can't see the light
drink
through
while
there.
pregnant.
Can't see the pen.
Wait and
It's on, man. It's not
drink to
going-
taste. That's what we do on By the Glass. So we want to see you next week and to buytheglassshow.com. Come back every week. And also check out what's going on at our webpage so that you can buy the beers and join along with us at home. I mean, that's the fun of it, right? So thanks so much, man. It was
Thank
a pleasure
you.
to have Mr. Jeff Croy on.
Thank you,
Southeast
guys. I
Regional
really
Manager.
appreciate it.
Yeah, definitely. Guys, go out, get some Green Flash. You'll be happy you
Absolutely.
did. It's good
Yeah.
beer. And Jeff, you can see him out just drinking around. We love you guys, and please be safe out there. We want to see you. Check out Beer Pulse for our, for
All your
our
beer news.
flashes. Love you, and have a great evening. And
Cheers.
Good night. Cheers. Thanks again, Dave Adams, Jeff Croy, Ed Roberts.
Thank you.
SoFloRadio.com and SoFloTelevision.com.